Mikel Arteta said that he always knew that you'd become a coach. So was Pep Guardiola is usually said to have been the biggest influence, but what about Arteta? Has he been an influence for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously for me, it was obviously easy to see that he would become a coach because he was the assistant, and it felt like this was a natural progression for him. I think it's normal. I had the same when I think we played against Enzo Maresca recently as well, and obviously because Pep is such a dominant figure, it's normal that he takes these huge plays as the person who probably inspired a lot of people to become a coach. But then for me, the thing is, if you look at the evolution of Mikel's team and what they do and how they do it, you can't forget that he's got a very rich history with other coaches as well and at other clubs. And what you see in his game is just incredible physicality of the team, attention to detail to every phase. Of course, the set pieces, everybody knows it, but it's a team that has very, very few weaknesses in any phase of play. And that's something that is also Mikel's character in his attention to detail. And yeah, of course, there's no doubt that Pep has played an incredible role in many people's careers and mine as well. Forever grateful. But both teams are quite different as well. And that's what makes this game as well quite special tomorrow.
Nächstes Julian Wolf für die Welt, bitte. Hallo Vincent, in dieser Saison war es ja.
In this season in the Bundesliga, you've dominated. So you'll see against Chelsea how you you are internationally. Then we said, okay, in Paris, same thing. You won again. How is it today? Is this another one of those tests, or are you favorite tomorrow, or can you see that? So I'm not sure how I will see the game, but I know what they will say. So then they will say, well, we'll be in the quarterfinal, and then hopefully we'll be in the quarterfinals, and then they'll say the same about the semifinal and then about the final. So they keep moving the goalpost further up. So that's why it's not that important for me. So we won our first 4 games. That was important. And everyone knew, you saw the names, Chelsea at home, Arsenal away, PSG away, and then a few other teams like PSV and Bruges that are not easy either. So we've done our homework so far. We can hope we can continue with that. But at the moment, I think I said that about 3 weeks ago, so it's probably the hardest task for us to play against this team, but that we are here. That's why we are here. We want that. Hello. How did you talk about set pieces? Did you analyze that? Do you see that as a risk? How dangerous are Arsenal there? And how can you defend their throw-ins? Well, that's the truth. In the last few games, we didn't show our strengths, our normal strength. So we've seen that as a player as well. You go through such a phase, and it doesn't mean that you're not good in such a phase, but it just means that you just have to make it better in the next games because you didn't perform well. But we have, of course, analyzed this, have worked on this, and even the best teams can get into difficulties against Arsenal. But now we're talking about what could happen for them. And I don't really want to think too much about the defense. If they do this, then we have a problem. I want to play our own game, to show our own performance. And at the end, I know it will be difficult tomorrow to score our goals, but I know we can do that, and we'll have to try that. And yeah, so we want to be better there. So we want to become that strong team. We are that offensively, but we have to become more stable defensively, the type of team that we normally are. Well, that's part of it. I played in England for 11 years. I was coach in the second division, so yeah, almost all throw-ins come into the box. So you have to tell your defenders to head the ball out of it, and then of course they have the second waves, and then with your forwards and midfielders have to defend as well in those situations. But that's all about talking about defense, but then you can also create counter-attacks from there, so that could give you an advantage as well, but of course it's difficult.
Can I just follow up on what you were saying about Mikel Arteta? When you were being coached by him at City, did you detect something special about him? And is any part of you surprised at the level that he's now reached with Arsenal?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Mikel played a big role as part of the supporting staff for everything I'm saying now. By the way, I've said it already before when I came here with Burnley. It was just less of you guys in here, but I've said it before. But he's now he was a big part of the supporting staff, and you could see his activity around the place. Obviously Pep was the architect, but behind him he had people that were just constantly giving him feedback and sort of challenging him, and he was definitely that person. So I think when he left, no one was necessarily surprised that he would become the manager he can become, and I have to say I'm really impressed by this Arsenal team. I think operationally, if you look at sort of how they are set up in every phase, and for us coaches there's one thing which is of course winning trophies, but then there's another thing, you just look at how a team is being coached, and if you look at how they are set up in every phase, they are the benchmark for many things. When they defend the box, there's not many teams in the world who do better than them. When they take set pieces, throw-ins, defend set pieces, defend throw-ins, when they take kickoffs, defend kickoffs, there's not many teams who are set up better. And they're a team, of course, with players who can also create. So it's a very strong outfit. They've been together for 6 years. In terms of Mikel being here, and you can see that. But I love every bit of the challenge because we come in a really good phase as well, and I think both teams have done what they needed to do to this point to kind of see the light. The team that wins this game makes a big step towards being qualified for the next round through the direct qualification with the first 8 places. Yeah.
Nächster Stefan Kumberger, 3-1 für Sport 1.
There are talks about Upamecano. Harry has talked about his future. What role can you play? For many players, you are an important factor. Everyone's happy with you. So can you intervene there and maybe solve some problems? Well, I've worked way too intensely for this Arsenal game to talk about contracts. I understand that you're asking that, and I understand that you'll keep asking this question. But what I said in my first week at Bayern, we are like finding solutions as a family. We will all play our role, and let's see what happens. But hopefully we'll win tomorrow. So, hello. Very diplomatic. So it wasn't only diplomatic, it was the truth. What can you tell us about the team news, Kimmich, Gnabry, and the question about Lennart Karl? So young players are normally grateful to get a few minutes to play, but now he's already had quite an influence on your game. Has he already made the step from the small youth player, and is he a serious candidate for your first 11 long term? So let's look in 10 years. And then he'll be 27, what he'll say about the 17th. Then he'll say, oh, I was young back then. So yes, he is young. He'll be young for a while, and that's good. He has to savor that. So what he will do with his performances that can continue like this for the next 10, 20, 30 games, there's no problem. We're going to support that he continues like that. The question is what's going to happen when this stops? And then in that phase, we know what he can become in the future, and that doesn't depend from the game tomorrow. So if he doesn't play well tomorrow, then there's not going to change anything for us. So what he's doing at this moment, so he's mentally stable, his performances are not only offensively good, but also in defense. Tomorrow is a different kind of a game, a different kind of a test. But yeah, we're there for him in his development. Oh yeah, the team news. Yeah, I try to forget talking about the team news, but thank you for reminding me. Serge looks good. If he'll start or can play 90 minutes, that's not, I don't know yet, but it looks good. And we were a bit worried, but it looks good now. So some good signs. And has given good signals as well. So today has been a positive day. So hopefully we'll have the whole team ready for tomorrow.
Daniel from Bench Use. Apologies in advance because this is another question about Pep and Mikel. But I do want to ask, you did say that there is differences between your Bayern side and Mikel's Arsenal side. Is there any similarities that you see that tactically?
Yeah, I think, do you know what? It's because, and it doesn't actually bother me at all because I want to give credit where it's due, you know. But I try to be a logical mind because I get these questions obviously when I played against Alonso 5 times last year. I get that question. When I played against Enzo Maresca this year, I get that question. When I play against Mikel, I get that question, which is I like it because I actually don't want to talk down the role that this man Pep has had for me. You know, the only thing is if you all analyze the 4 teams I've just mentioned and how different they are from one another and how they operate, actually that's for you guys then to reflect on it and say, why is that? So, you know, play against Alonso and actually we're very different. Tomorrow's game, if you look at both teams and how we behave in many phases, we're very different. We have things in common, but we're very different. And the same with Chelsea and the same with... And that's for me interesting, sort of like, to sort of look at, actually, yes, but look at the differences and why is that? It's for you to figure out. Yeah.
Hi, Vincent. Back to those long balls and stop-start tactics. I mean, in your time at Manchester City, when you were the champion, we only had Stoke City and Tony Pulis, right? So how disruptive is it when an opponent, takes so long to throw the ball in from a throw-in or to set up a dead ball situation? Harry said you didn't train any specifics, to counter the threat from Arsenal, from set pieces and such. But how disruptive is it? Because you're a pressing team, and you are not changing the way you're playing. I mean, is it a phase with these long throws?
Yeah. Sorry, did you say we didn't train?
He said you didn't pay special attention to their way. Harry Kane, just now.
Right.
Oh, maybe he wasn't telling the truth. I don't know.
Good smoke screen there. No, I mean there is a part of it as well, which and I'm sure it's the same for Arsenal. You get to those big stages, and it doesn't matter what I was a player for in my playing career. It's the same when you play for the big teams. You'll analyze the opposition, you recognize their strengths, but then you also have an incredible amount of belief in your own strengths. So it's totally true that there's so much to take into consideration when you play against a team like Arsenal, and you know the momentum of the game, the set plays, and everything else. It's only a fraction, but it's a part of the game that you have to take care of. But they have to do the same. We want to have a good day tomorrow, and if we have a good day tomorrow, we're capable of showing things as well ourselves. So take full acknowledgement of what makes them special at the moment, and then I never forget at the end of it to acknowledge what's made us special so far, and to make sure that that's a part of tomorrow's game if we can, you know.
Last one in German for Heiko Niederland.
Hallo, guten Abend.
Serge Gnabry has a special history in London. He's scored 4 against Tottenham, and against Chelsea scored against Arsenal as well. Does that play a role for you to do, if you know those stats, that you have to let him play tomorrow? Can you use him in such a game? Not so much. What I know, the players need trust, and you can get the trust from anything in life. And if that gives you 10% extra confidence, then I will definitely take that. But there are not that many differences tomorrow, because there are fitness matters, who can play, who is fit enough to play, and Serge will play a role. Whether he will start or not, we will see, but it has a lot to do with fitness. So that's why I can't really talk a lot about this. I have to keep it simple.